Hi, welcome to the south of France. We're just up the coast from Monte Carlo, and I'm here to ride the 2014 version of Ducati's Diavel Carbon. The Diavel caused a real stir when it was launched 3 years ago. Plenty of people, especially some Ducati fans, weren't at all keen on the idea of a big, long, cruiser-type V-twin with a laid-back riding position, flashy air scoops and a humongous 240-section back tyre. But when you rode the Diavel, you just had to love the thing. It worked well at cruising speeds and it had heaps of character, but what made it special was just how fast and exciting it was. Now Ducati have updated the Diavel, they say with the main aim of improving its comfort and low-speed performance. That aggressive styling gets a tweak with larger air scoops on each side of the fuel tank. There's a new LED headlight and indicators, the seat is redesigned and the revised exhaust system gets slash-cut silencers. As before, there's a more expensive Diavel Carbon model, which we rode on the launch, and which has carbon fibre front mudguard, tank and seat covers, a frame in white or red instead of black, plus forged aluminium wheels and different silencers. Both models get the latest 1198cc 8-valve Testa Stretta 11-degree DS engine, with its dual spark plugs per cylinder, as used by the Multistrada and the new Monster 1200. Cams are new and the compression ratio is slightly higher. Maximum output remains 160 horsepower, but there's an increase in low rev torque, which wasn't exactly lacking beforehand. Ducati chose Monaco as the launch venue, and it was easy to understand why. For posing around Monte Carlo, a muscly cruiser does the job perfectly, but only a few minutes away you've got twisty alpine roads where you need horsepower, handling and brakes. The Diavel has all that covered and it certainly works well around town. For such a mean looking bike, it's very rider friendly, especially if you press the indicator button to select Urban, the softest of the 3 riding modes, which gives a gentle throttle response and a maximum of 100 horsepower. The low seat aids manoeuvrability too. The only drawback in Monte Carlo was a sticky gearbox that I sometimes struggled to get into neutral, possibly due to the bike's very low mileage. Apart from that, the Diavel was brilliant in the city, and it turned heads even among the fancy cars. But the great thing about the Diavel has always been how well it works when you open it up on proper roads, and that's even more true now. In touring off sport mode, the acceleration is stunning, and the thunderous exhaust note and the lack of wind protection make the bike seem even faster. At 250 kilos dry, or about 150 pounds, the Diavel's not much heavier than some sports bikes, and its extra length helps keep its front wheel down under acceleration. It also has fantastic stopping power, again helped by its length, but mainly due to the ferocious bite of Brembo monoblock calipers plus an excellent ABS system. As before, the most impressive aspect of the Diavel is arguably its improbably agile handling. A bike with cruiser-style steering geometry and the huge rear tyre really shouldn't handle so well. Around some of the tightest hairpins it felt slightly cumbersome, but in most bends it was brilliantly composed, and you can crank it over a fairer way before the footrest touch down. The Ducati is also respectably practical, slightly more so than before due to the larger seat, which gives a bit more room to move around. Fuel capacity is unchanged at 17 litres, which wasn't ideal on the launch, because thrashing up and down alpine roads meant the engine was very thirsty, and the range was less than 100 miles, but in more typical use I don't think that'll be an issue for many riders. At least the tank top instrument panel has gained a fuel gauge. If you want more practicality, the accessories list includes a screen and panniers, as well as more typical performance parts including a Terminioni pipe and some very fancy drilled wheels. Really though, the main appeal of the Diavel is what it's always been, the way it blends cruiser style with superbike speed and improbably good chassis performance. That combination is what justifies a pretty hefty price, especially for this carbon version. The Diavel's a very different Ducati. Some people still won't like it, but the original was a very good bike and this version is even better. A little more refined and just as exciting as ever. If you want a bike that's as fast and fun on a twisty road as it's cool and comfortable in town, there's really nothing else that comes close.